And welcome on back, everybody. We are ready to delve into my review for the amazing or just Marvel Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac Games and Sony Publishing. Now I want to get this off since we already got all the last segments off of my chest already in regards to a couple things that I thought about the game early on, especially in our early playthroughs and stuff like that. I talked a lot about it, but ready to kind of delve right into it. The meats and potatoes, the bones of Spider-Man 2 in its entirety. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this. I played Spider-Man 1, 100% completion. I played Spider-Man Miles Morales, 100% completion. Spider-Man 2, again, 100% completion. And I've heard all the comments. I've heard everybody's comments. I've read everybody's reaction to it. I've read everybody's interpretation of certain things, and I don't take any of that into consideration when I start voicing my own opinions on these games. So I'm going into it on a fan perspective, not on a developer perspective. I go into it always with any of the reviews I do. I go with that perspective in mind. So with that in mind, Spider-Man 2. Does it hit on all cylinders when it comes to an actual gameplay and everything else? Yes, it does. It's a great game to play. Excellent. I think the fighting mechanics are spot on. The swinging mechanics have never felt more fluid. The world itself is vibrant. It's New York City. If you've never been to New York, and if you don't ever feel like you're going to be one of those that actually gets a chance to ever go to New York City, this is probably the closest you can get to it. This shows New York. Now, does it show all aspects of New York? Trust me, no, it doesn't. There's certain parts of New York you're just not going to get captured in the video game sense. Okay, but this gives you a broad stroke, a broad view of New York City. The world is alive. The world is vibrant. You feel the world alive around you as you're swinging through. Let's say you're swinging through downtown Manhattan. You're swinging through Manhattan. Manhattan feels alive. It feels vibrant. Even at nighttime, like the nightlife feels like it's there. You feel alive. They got the world right. The swinging mechanics have never felt smoother. They feel great. They're traversing the world, and that's what I feared, especially going into Spider-Man 2, is how is traversing the world of New York as Spider-Man going to feel? Is it going to feel like if I pull up the map and I have to swing all the way across New York City to get to my objective? Do I look at it like, oh fuck, I got to swing all the way over there? No, I'd literally just like, all right, cool, and start going. Because you never know what you're going to see. They provide different things for you to do and activities to do in between to keep you busy. And I'm always one of the proponents for doing everything 100% for a game like that. I do all the side missions. I do every activity that pops up as I can, because sometimes there's like more than one activity that presents itself at the same time. Of course, obviously one of them's got to take a back seat. I always do every extra one of the side missions, every one of the extra activities that I need to do. I'm always like I want to unlock every single suit that's available to me. And a lot of those are going to be tied into the different side missions that you have to do throughout the game. So they offer you a pretty big abundance of side missions to do. Now, do some of those side missions really, really seem repetitive? Yeah, they really are. Like the Marco memories, they're all fucking repetitive as shit. The symbiote nests, they are all really, really repetitive too. It's really not much variation to any of them except for just the locale. You know, a lot of those missions, like the university ones that Miles has, those were different. You know, they're different things. The Spider-Bot missions were actually pretty fun for the most part because you literally got to hunt for them. That felt cool to me. I enjoyed those. I like doing that. But like some of those missions, like the Marco missions, the flame missions were different because each one was different. It was kind of going to a different story. It was going elsewhere. It was going elsewhere. It was doing more. That I like those. But the Marco ones, the symbiote nests, those were all the same things, just in a different locale. The EMF environmental missions that Peter can do, they were pretty much the same, except a couple of them had some variations to them. Okay, maybe you can get through with that, maybe. But a lot of the other missions, like the Prowler missions that Miles had to do, it was the same thing, just in a different locale. It's really the same thing over and over again, just kind of repeat in different parts of the city. And that's where it started to feel a little bit more redundant. Like I would go, because again, I'm a completionist. I got 100% everything, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, all right, I got to go do this. I'll swing over there. I'll go do this. I already know what to expect. It's the same fucking thing that I just did before, and I was on the trajectory where I actually did all the side stuff before I even got 50% through with the story. I was done with all that stuff. Until newer stuff like the symbiote nest unlocked as you get a little bit later into the story. Those unlocked, and then I went and did all them. I wanted to knock all that stuff out. And if you do it that way, you can actually unlock every suit gadget, every regular gadget, and every skill upgrade for your character, Miles, and the two of y'all combined. You should be able to unlock all those with no problem. It maxes out at level 60. And I was maxed out at level 60 before I even went into the symbiote storyline when Harry gets the symbiote back. Spoiler warning. So I'm gonna try not to go into. I'm gonna try not to get too spoiler heavy, but I think most of us already kind of know the direction that the story went. And that was another problem I kind of had with it. Not so much as I'm not going to use this more as a critique. I'm not going to have this kind of count towards like points off for my score of the game. But I did not like the route they went with the symbiote and Harry being the first and major host of Venom and not Eddie Brock. I did not like that part of the story. And I think the direction they're kind of going towards, you can kind of tell they're bringing Green Goblin into it, and eventually Hobgoblin's going to make his debut. But I don't recall. I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong, and I have no idea. But I follow comic books pretty heavily, and I don't remember a storyline where Harry got the symbiote and became Venom, as we know Venom is today, before he got the Hobgoblin, or even before Norman got his abilities. I don't remember any of that stuff taking, and I discredit and I discount the movies altogether. I'm going just solely off of the books. I don't recall any of that. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And that's kind of like where I had a little bit of a story. They kind of tweaked their story a little bit to kind of fit, I guess, the direction they wanted to go story wise. Which, if that's the case, okay. If that's what you want, okay. Does it make for an intriguing storyline? It made it interesting. I like some of the things they did with the story. But the one thing I did not like is I felt that going into the game, I felt that Kraven should have been the main draw villain-wise for the game. And the way it felt to me was midway through development, they said, we got to incorporate Venom. Let's incorporate Venom into this game. I think that would do a lot more. Because it felt midway through the story that Venom started to take more of a priority. And then by the end of the game, he was the priority. And that completely overshadowed Kraven. Where Kraven didn't even feel really like a villain to me. It felt, by the end, I felt sorry for him. When he should have been like the main villain draw for this title. They could have flushed out the Venom storyline across a couple different games. You could have even done like a DLC story attachment with this game to flush out more Venom story. I think they did too much. I think they tried to do too much. They threw too much into the pot, and it did not mix very well. Craven felt like a pointless throwaway villain. And how you kill off many of Spider-Man's main villains off screen is mind-boggling to me. We saw none of that. Like you throughout the course of the game, you see villains that Spider-Man had, Craven hunted and killed off. You don't know how, you don't know why, you don't know where. You just know that they are dead. They're gone. Only like one or two do you see actually escape out because you helped them. But what about all the other ones? You just see the remnants of them. I don't like that part of it either. It felt like it was just too much. Too much of it got in the way, and that's what, to me, that's what ruined the story for me a little bit. It wasn't so much of like some of the direction they went as far as like the Venom character and stuff like that. I just felt that they could have done more with the story if they went one direction instead of multiple. And I'm not even going to get into the development side where we've already discussed the things that they did wrong as far as like the Hispanic stuff with the flag representation and the subtitles and the Spanish language overdubs and how messed up I think they were. We all know that to be true. And that, I'm not going to just go bear repeating any of that because you can go back and listen to some previous segments on my thoughts and opinions on that. But is that Dockham a good point for that? Yeah, because that's just inexcusable. I'm sorry, it's just inexcusable. They're going to get points knocked off for the story. The fight mechanics, perfect. The city feels alive, vibrant, perfect. I love that. The other thing I did not care for too much in this game was the Mary Jane Watson taking over her role in certain parts of the story. Because it kind of sucked it out of me. Like, for example, when she has to go get the alien rock and Spider-Man's having to take Venom away from that area. And then Miles is left to fight off the other symbiotes that are out there. I wanted to play more as Spider-Man trying to traverse the city while Venom is giving chase. I didn't want to have to play Mary Jane Watson going to get the freaking rock and then coming back out. That felt like a wasted opportunity to me. You could have done more with that particular part. I would have rather even played as Miles fighting off the waves of freaking symbiotes. But I would have much rather been Peter Parker going through New York City trying to get away from Venom who's giving chase. I would have just much rather have done that with those parts. And for that, that's got to knock it off a good point. So, was it really, really good? Spider-Man was good, yes. Was it better than the first? It might be about even with it. What I was kind of hoping with Spider-Man 2 was they were going to add a co-op ability to the game. I think that was another big missed opportunity that I don't know if they just didn't have time to or they couldn't figure out how to make it work story-wise. With something like that, I would have tried to make that work out story-wise. You can make that work out. But I think having one player take on the role of Miles, the other one take on the role of Spider-Man, I think was a big missed opportunity and could have probably paid dividends and been enough to kind of put this game forward more than it has been. So overall, my score and opinion on Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac Games, I'm giving a 7 out of 10. It's a good game. You know what? 7.5 because it's slightly above average. But would I put this into the Game of the Year contender? No. I think there's other contenders out there that were better, that did better. But yes, it was a good game. I had fun with it. I think the main story to me wasn't that long. If you went through like my son did, you can be done with the game in a day and a half. If you just did straight through the main story, and you know he He did the complete main story and very little of the side missions, and was 50 some odd percent complete with the game. I took the extra couple days and did all the extra side missions and stuff. But 7.5 out of 10, that is my score for Spider-Man 2. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below and what you guys thought. And when we come back, we will go into our closing and a couple questions from you guys online. So stay tuned.